Hi, I'm Barbara. Welcome to this week's episode of Craft Corner Kits to Go. This week we're right around the corner from Cinco de Mayo, so I thought it'd be fun if we built our own pinata. So in order to do this project, you're going to need a paper bag, lunch sack size, some strips of all the colors of a rainbow, about 3 inches by 18 inches. And then you're going to need some more strips of the same colors in about maybe 1 by 7 inches, just some little strips. You're going to need some candy. You don't need a lot of candy, just a little candy. And you're going to need a magazine or a newspaper that you can crumple up some pages to fill in where the candy doesn't take up enough room. You're going to need some cording, some Scotch tape, a stapler. Of course, you always need scissors. We're going to need a hole punch, and I used a ruler to measure the paper before we started. So if you end up making more than one of these and are making your own stuff, you're going to need a ruler. Okay? To start out with, we need to take our lunch bag and open it up. And I'm going to take the candy, which just a handful of candy. You don't have to go crazy with candy. Put it in the bottom of the bag. Then I'm taking an old magazine, but you could take newspaper or tissue paper or anything you want, and just put it in on top of the candy. So what we're trying to do is make our bag so that it's filled up. Because if you filled it up with candy, that would be too much candy, and it'd probably be too heavy to make this really neat pinata. Now, take your lunch sack after you've put a couple of pieces of stuffing in there, and fold it over a couple of times, and take your stapler and staple it shut. Then take your hole punch, and in the same area where you stapled, right above it, punch a hole, and take your cord and put it through that hole and tie it in a knot. Then on the other side where you've done a staple, make another hole and put your other piece of cord through it and tie a knot. There you go. Now, I'm ready to decorate my pinata. The first color I'm going to put on this is purple. So I take my purple one, and I'm going to fold it in half. And we have to cut a fringe. So, holding one edge of this, I will cut fringe in it. My fringe is about a ½ inch apart, and I'm not cutting all the way. I'm just cutting 2/3 of the way into the width of the strip of tissue paper. And there I have a fringe of purple. So I'm going to start here at the bottom and let let that hang down about 2 inches. It hangs down about 2 inches below the bottom of the bag. I'm going to take a piece of tape, and on each side, as I'm going around, I will tape it so that it stays like a little skirt on my bag. Now the next color after purple in the rainbow is blue. So I'm going to take my blue piece of tissue paper and do the same thing. I'm going to cut a fringe after I folded it so that I don't have to cut as much. And this blue one, I'm going to put about 1 inch above my purple. And I do the same thing as I go. Okay, now the next color is going to be green. So I'll take my green, and again I do the same thing. I do 1/2 inch slashes to make a fringe, and this green one is going to go about 1 inch up from where the blue was. Okay, now we've got the green on. Okay, the next color is going to be yellow. Again, we're cutting the fringe. This one goes up another inch. Then our next one's going to be orange. And red is our last color. So now you have all the colors on here, and the only thing we still need to do is add these little pieces of color to the bottom. So I'll just take a couple of them at a time and put some tape on there and tape it somewhere on the bottom of your bag. you have your piñata, and it's all ready for Cinco de Mayo. You could take this outside on that day and use a broom handle, maybe hang it on a tree and take turns swinging at it. And when you break it open, your candy's inside. So that's it for this week's episode of Crafts Corner Kids to Go. We'll see you next week.